everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cosmic Conversations. I'm your hostess, Marla Martenson, and today I have a magical healer named Daniel the Healer from Los Angeles as well, the City of Angels. Hey, Daniel, welcome.
Oh, well, nice meeting you here, Marla. Thanks for having me, and I hope we're going to have a terrific show.
Absolutely, we're going to have a terrific show. So I have just been made aware of you recently. You were on My Seven Chakras with my friend AJ, and he told me about you. And then I looked and I see, well, we're practically neighbors. We're probably 3 or 4 miles apart, which is
Tops.
Yeah, which is really cool. And so you're an energy healer, a body whisperer. You do psychic energy, chiropractic work, and a spiritual counselor, and so much more. But tell us, before we dive into what you do, I'm always curious how people started out in life. Were you always spiritual? Did you always have this gift? Were you a healer? What was your childhood like?
Okay, so before I do this, though, I have to correct something. You cannot call me a chiropractor because I do not crack bones. I do alignments and adjustments by sight. I look at you and you adjust. So
yeah, this is incredible. We're going to get into that. Yeah,
I know, but I do want to correct that.
Absolutely.
So anyway, yes, just turned 70 a few days ago. Born and raised in Switzerland. Came in with a lot of resistance. Did not like the physical plane. Resisted up the wazoo. Became very, very sick as a young child. Had polio when I was 2, was paralyzed for 2 years, had to relearn how to walk and all that kind of stuff, and was way behind on the curve compared to other kids, and so I was the bully magnet. And so that set up a very feeling rejected, feeling unworthy kind of childhood, and then somewhere in my teens I got out of it. I decided that on some level, I made the choice I was going to be healthy, and I've been healthy ever since. However, looking back, I had the gift, but wasn't aware of it until 34, when I met an incredible spiritual teacher that opened me up to my capacities, and then I got into it. I actually started by I was trying to become a private pilot and slogging through this manual to learn all the stuff, what to do, and know all the rules and regs, and it's rather complicated up there in the air. And I had such a hard time, and I was barely making it, and I talked to somebody about it, and they said, hey, you know what? Why don't you try hypnosis? And so that's what I did. I went to see a hypnotist. He put me under, what they call, put you under in an alternate state. He gave me some suggestions. He quote-unquote woke me up, and I came out, and I breezed through the rest of the manual. I breezed through the exam. I completed in the upper 90s. Everything was cool, but I was so incredibly intrigued. How was it possible that somebody could just put you into a semi-trance and say blah 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 blah, and then wake you up, and then blah 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 comes true? That's just blew my mind. I mean, it was my first foray into realizing that we had greater capacities as humans, because I was totally raised left brain.
Yeah.
Engineer father, Aquarian father, Aquarian mother, Aquarian brother, me little Taurus wanting affection and sensuality, and 3 intellectuals. And emotions weren't touched in our home. My mother never said I love you in her whole life, except once on her deathbed. And when I brought it up, but sometimes she said, yeah, but mothers always love their children. Well,
right.
Thank you for telling me. So I was, I was raised in the German section. I cannot speak German anymore because all my emotional stuff I learned in English. So I can say I love you in English, but I cannot say it in German.
Oh.
It just sounds weird.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm angry in German. I can't say I'm afraid in German. I can't say I'm full of joy and it's exciting life. It's just, that was just a no-no. One does not speak about your emotions. So I felt like when I finally woke up and I finally got into it, I was basically a 4-cylinder engine running on 2 cylinders.
Wow. Well, but now this sounds like just that one session, that is incredible, kind of woke you up. Did your pineal gland open? Do you have the third eye? How important was that to you? Because I'm really into that third eye right now.
Not at this time. What I did, once I really wondered about this incredible experience, and then a few weeks later I got a mail from the doctor, and he says, you know, I'm going to give a class to learn hypnosis.
Okay.
And I said, wow, I'm in. So, 40 years ago, a weekend, and it wasn't licensed, nothing. You went there, he gave me a certificate. I was a certified hypnotist. And so I put out the shingle. I printed business cards, gave it to my friends, and that's how I started, not knowing what I was doing.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah, a weekend, that's very quick, because now you study for a year at there's a place in Tarzana that's the Hypnosis Institute, and it's a whole long program. So yeah, you just jumped right in.
Exactly, and it worked. I mean, I had a few mild successes, but the psyche intrigued me. And so about a year later, I got involved. A friend told me about this psychic reader she was a Greek woman who read tea leaves. Basically, you drink a cup of tea, and the tea leaves are still on the bottom, and then she puts it upside down, and that gives her images. And so she predicted 3 things, and to a T, they came true.
Wow.
Yes, precisely.
What were they? Can you share what they were?
Yeah, one was a car accident.
Oh.
On a multi-lane highway, and the car in front of me would rear-end the one in front. And sure enough, it happened just the way she described it within a few weeks. And now that really blew my mind. And so when the same friend who recommended, this woman recommended to me that I connect with Lazarus, I did. And Lazarus is an incredible spiritual teacher. He's channeled through Jack Purcell, who lives in Santa Barbara half the year and in Colombia the other half. And I've been going to Lazarus seminars and learning from Lazarus and having private readings for the last 39 years.
Wow. See, I'm learning more about these channelers. I really love channelers. I follow a few, but I hadn't heard of Lazarus.
Oh, you need to go and see Lazarus.com.
I will look it up, and then you said your wife is also a channel, which is fascinating.
Yes, the entity she channels is a group called Galexis.
That's very cool.
So, anyway, Lazarus taught me about human potential, all the things and I learned, and how to meditate, and how to get in touch with your chakras, like you said. You're interested in pineal gland right now. And there was another reason I wanted to talk to you about chakras, because I went and looked at your website too, and you're quote-unquote a matchmaker.
Yes.
And so I wanted to talk to these people that listen to you, how important it is to have their energy fields in good condition, because otherwise all their signals that they put out get messed up, and they're not connecting well, or they're not connecting at all, or they're connecting temporarily, and then it falls all apart because their energies are not aligned up properly. So anyway, we'll get into that later.
We'll get into that. That's fascinating.
So back to Lazarus, and so I learned about chakras. Lazarus uses the 12 chakra system. There's the 7 that you know, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown, and then below your feet is the 8th chakra, which is the auric chakra, and then 9, which is your truer self, 10, which is your higher self, 11, which is your soul, and 12, which is the divine, which I call God, Goddess, all that is, because I do not believe that God is only masculine.
Okay.
And, you know, everything says in his image.
Right.
Yeah, well, we are, so man and woman in his image, hello. there must be the image of man and woman God too.
Yes.
So anyway, so I call it God. God is all that is. So your third eye is where you have the awareness of yourself as being a divine being. Mm-hmm. Your third eye is the only chakras that cannot be externally controlled. Mm-hmm. All the other chakras can be controlled through external circumstances. This is the seat of the I am, right where you are. And it's also the seat of your psychic perceptions.
Yes.
So it all goes there. And I do something which is called the life essence reading, where I look at 60 different components in somebody's energy field, and I've seen many, many third eyes. And there's not really much you can do with your third eye. I have not seen anybody who had a broken third eye. I've seen other people who had broken chakras. But
what about most people? They say our third eye is calcified, and that's why we're like it's shut down from the fluoride in the water and the food and all of that. So
yeah, that happens, but originally got shut down because here you are, 3-4 years old, and your mommy, so and so says so and so, and she says, oh, who is so and so? Oh, they come and visit me, and blah 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 blah. And mother said, oh, you're getting older now. These are just imaginary friends. You need to forget about these things. And of course, in the US, we are very much in a quote-unquote Christian environment where anything outside God, i.e. astrology, being psychic, being perceptive, is sinful. So we as a culture have shut this down. And then, of course, if this is shut down, then it gets calcified.
Yeah, okay.
With the fluoride. And there's ways you can uncalcify yourself. Right. There's remedies out there that will do that. But basically, if you use it, it's not going to calcify. And that's what I say to everybody. Say, well, how do I become more aware? How do I open up my gift? How do blah, 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 blah?
Yes.
Well,
give us that tip.
Okay, well, there's two things that you need to do. First of all, you need to use it. It's like, you go to the gym, you want to be...
But how do we use it? How do we use it,
Dan? I'm going to say that.
Okay. I'm so excited.
You're going to the gym and you want to build up your muscles, and you're not standing at the sideline watching others do the work. You're actually going there and working your muscles, and so you have to do the same thing. And how do you work your muscles? Well, you work your muscles by putting inquiries to that which you don't know how to perceive outside the realm of your five senses. So you have the five senses, and then, quote unquote, we have what is called extrasensory perception. And so anything that you don't know that is verifiable within a few hours, you just put it out. You say, well, in the morning you drive to work, so in your imagination, you go through the roof of your house, you hover maybe 1,000 feet in the air, and you look around. How's traffic? And you see whether you get impressions. Now, initially, you may not get impressions, but just by putting the query out that you're curious to know, it will start to awaken it, and it will create a circumstance where that will be expanded. So you do that.
Okay.
And then you go out and you see, oh, yeah, I noticed this on the 405. It was really jammed up. Now you go on the 405. Is it jammed up or not? Okay. Anything that you can verify within a short while, you take a moment and you see whether you get an impression about it. Your phone rings. Instead of looking at the caller ID, take a moment to say, who could that be? 2 or 3 seconds. Okay. If nothing comes, you take the phone and you answer. Yeah. But, oh, that's my mother. Okay. Yes, it is my mother. Yeah, she always calls at 9 a.m. That's kind of a giveaway. Yeah. But you understand. You need to challenge your third eye. You need to rattle on your cage of seeing whether you get perceptions and then verify these perceptions to see that whether those are true. But by doing that, you will actually increase the capacity of your third eye. The other thing is that you need to trust what you receive.
Okay.
So for years, first of all, people have different ways of receiving. Are you familiar with NLP?
NLP, I keep hearing about that.
Yeah, the neuro-linguistics programming. So in neuro-linguistics programming, there's three kinds of people. There's the audials, the visuals, and the kinesthetic. Isn't that interesting that this relatively new thing would decide upon these three types? Because in your perceptions, you're either a clairvoyant, you see, a clairaudient, you hear, or you're clairsentient, the kinesthetic. You just know. There's no way you can logically explain how you now know. And I'm one of those. I'm a clairsentient. And so I would just get these impressions, and then I would say, well, is that really true? I would doubt myself. I would create extraordinary obstacles that I had to overcome. I'm going to see and check again. No, you check and you check again. That's different. Because one is checking and the other one is checking again. So your purpose is different. So the result, the answer will be different. So after about 10 years of struggle, I decided one day, I just said, this is it. I'm not going to do anything with this anymore. Whatever I get, I'm going to trust that this is the truth. I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to go and get a second opinion. I'm just going to go for it. And the first 2 weeks were rather disaster. But the thing is, on the other side, your spirit helpers who feed you this information that you receive, they all of a sudden saw that I was serious about it. And so they kind of said, oh, we better make sure that what we're feeding him is correct.
Okay.
And so within 2 weeks, all of a sudden, I became about 80 to 90% accurate.
2 weeks, that's amazing.
Yeah, because I had done it for years. I just always doubted myself. So first of all, you have to challenge. And secondly, if you get something, you have to fully trust it.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for that. Yeah, I will do that. And I've been taking the supplements for years to decalcify and, many things. So it's slowly, I see light flashing on my right eye in the dark. I see light flashing. So something's cracking there.
Okay. And you don't necessarily need to have your eyes open. I mean, when I look at people's auras, my eyes are closed.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I don't see colors, but I see movement, and I get all kinds of other impressions, and it's absolutely extraordinarily accurate.
Wow, that is. And then your healing. So this was fascinating to me that you actually heal with your eyes. You look at someone. So tell us a little bit about that, and you adjust people just looking.
Yes. So first of all, I'm going to mention another website here, which is quantumtouch.com.
Okay.
Is a modality, and I learned that. And that's the modality that ultimately teaches you to heal with your gaze. So, like famous Brazzo, I'm a gazer. I don't know, when this comes out, is this video?
Yes.
I'm going to gaze a little bit into the camera, and I'm going to transmit energy that everybody who's watching this can actually feel.
Awesome.
I actually have created videos that people can watch at home, and they can receive the healing without me being present. So what I'm doing right now is I'm moving heart energy into the lens so that it comes out on the other side and it touches you. Specifically, what I did is I activated people's heart chakras.
Beautiful, so thank you.
You may feel a little tingle, a little just gentle, soft warmth, a little bit more belonging, being nurtured, being loved. And so the basis of quantum touch is that you go and breathing in, it's a breath-related thing. Breathing in, you go and you assemble the wisdom of nature, of plants, animals, minerals, of the nature spirits, sylph, salamander, gnome, and
fairies. I love fairies.
Yeah, fairy is good too. I have fairy friends. And you bring this and you wallow in your heart. And on the out breath, you expel this heart energy towards the person that you're working with, or you can also do it towards a loved one, some homeless person on the street that's really having a hard time. You can just send them a little shot of love. And so, but part of this quantum touch is that you learn that wherever you look, so if I look at your left shoulder and I run the energy, the heart energy, it will go to your left shoulder. And so I know how to muscle test. I know how to surrogate of you. So I can like test your skeletal alignment within about 2 minutes. I look at all your stuff and I know what's out. And then I run energy, heart energy, into those joints or bones that are out of place. Now, I don't know specifically how then the healing occurs. All I know is that something goes out. Something is not functioning properly.
Right.
It's on a cellular level. The cells forgot how to function. And so by sending love energy to those cells, you kind of send them life and they go, oh, that's what we need to do. And so they start to function properly again. So I don't do only skeletal structure. I also work with body parts and organs and systems. And I also even do, because I'm intuitive, I also do medical intuition, where I look at somebody's profile, and which is really good when somebody has gone to this specialist and that specialist and nobody really knows what's off. Because unfortunate, in the allopathic medical model, they look at you as parts.
Yes.
And so your liver may not work well, but it has nothing to do with the liver. It has to do that you're not taking, you're using the wrong soap, and the soap is coming into your system and is overburdening the liver.
And so, what about so the liver? There's so many. The liver is where we hold anger, right? And then I had read that there's a lot of stones in the liver, the hard little stones, and some people are full, and that causes a lot of anger in people. Are you?
Yes.
Liver cleanse could be great. Have you ever had a case where you're working on the liver energetically and it then releases some of these stones, or
I've never had liver stones or gallstones releases, but I had kidney stone release, which we thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
And I went to visit the guy in the hospital, and he was like in pain and everything. And so I looked at it, and then I was done, and we left, and he fell asleep, which he never does. And an hour later, he passed his stone. But yes, you're right. But I did have somebody who was in the hospital and their liver enzymes were totally off.
Okay.
And they were told that they would not release her until her liver enzymes came back to normal. So I did a long distance healing where quantum touch has 2 levels, quantum touch number 1 and number 2. In number 1, you lay on your hands. In number 2, you do it with your gaze. But she wasn't there, so I imagined my hands on her liver and I ran energies. And the next morning, they took her blood test and everything was cool and she could go home.
Oh, wonderful. Beautiful.
Now, it is true that anger gets stored in the liver. Not only anger, but all the unexpressed emotions. See, it's not what you feel that is important or bad or good. It's whether you express it or not. So unexpressed anger eventually can, turn into cancer, internal, because, quote unquote, the anger is eating at you and cancer is eating at you. Unexpressed fear, terror, can turn into stomach issues that, but unexpressed love can hurt your heart.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not whether you feel it or not.
Right.
It's whether you express it or not. And unfortunately, we are in a society where men are not supposed to feel angry and women are not, fearful, and women are not supposed to be angry. Yeah. And so we're all stuffing it.
Right.
And that's what kills us. That's what messes us up. We need to be current. We need to flow. We need to be plugged in live into reality.
And now I see so many women with thyroid problems.
Thyroid issues are different. You know, Louise Hay kind of put this book out where she correlated various illnesses and various circumstances. The thyroid issue has to do with when is it going to finally be my turn.
Oh, okay.
That's if you are in a situation where, you know, good little housefrau, serving her kids, serving her husband, being obedient, but deep down in your soul and spirit, you really want to be an artist. But no, I can't paint or do sculpture or whatever. That's impossible. I couldn't be this good little obedient person. But you're pining for it, not necessarily overtly, but your energy field wants it, and you continuously say, not now, later, later, later. When you defer, continuously defer, thyroid issue.
Wow, very interesting. All right, so so people can either, if they're, do you see people in person, right? If they're in LA, or
yes,
they can get your videos or Skype or whatever, right?
Correct. I'm on Skype. I have many clients all over the world. It works just as well as if you're here in person, but sometimes the person, if they're local, they feel, no, I have to see them in person. And it's their belief structure that will determine how well it goes, not mine.
Oh, okay.
And so if they want to see me in person, yes, I'm here.
And then in one of your videos, you were saying that this was fascinating to me, that every house has a house spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that, because I need to be tapping into my house spirit. I have not done that.
This is what information we received from a Russian shaman. And so he taught us how to get in touch with the house spirit. And basically you kind of intuit where it is, and then you go and tap on the wall, and then it's in a sense wakes him up. And so the first thing we do whenever we go to a new house is we find the house spirit and we make an offering to our house spirit, so that the house spirit knows that he or she is appreciated. Okay. We tell them we love them. The spirits need to know you love them, you care for them, you know. And then once you have a relationship set, you know, like, we're going to be out of the house for the next 2 weeks. Would you please protect our house? Would you make sure that, except for the housekeeper that comes on Thursday, you don't let anybody in? Would you make certain that the appliances work, that we don't need to have repairs done very often? Just keep the house in good condition. You know, please keep those ants out. They don't really belong inside. They belong outside. And of course, a spirit can talk to the ant spirit, and the ants will understand because they have a collective consciousness. So there's all kinds of little things.
That's very interesting. Now, when I go out of town or leave, we have an alarm, but I ask Archangel Michael to watch over the house. I say, please protect the house. But now that I know there's a house spirit, now did the house spirit, as soon as the house was built, did it come in there? Is that the energy from the wood?
Generally, that's what happens during the building process.
Okay. And then
so we found interesting things in that regard, like subdivisions that are cookie cutter.
Right. Okay.
Sometimes the house spirit is either very, very dormant or poorly developed, because everything was just thrown in the same house after house after house. You know, first pad, and then first house, they start putting in the walls, then second house did the pad, and then the first house they put the roofs, the second house they put in the walls, the third house they kind of do this, and they have all these crews, and there's not much connection between the humans and their buildings. And so anyway, we found this very odd, but we live right now in a house that was built in the early 60s, and it was handcrafted. There's fine woodwork in it, and the artistry that was used to put this house together is just phenomenal. And so there's a very alive house spirit.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to try to find mine and see if there's one here. And then would you say that there's one in every house, or maybe is
Pretty
there
much.
not? Okay, so I'll find that one. And maybe he's been sitting here for 55 years. This place was built in 1955, so 60 years. It's been waiting.
So, yeah, exactly. So, hello. I didn't know you existed.
I'm excited.
Sorry about that, but I'm here. Let's make, let's have tea together.
Exactly. Sorry I ignored you, but so let's just talk about a little bit about psychic protection. We were talking about protecting the house, and then how common is it to pick up energy from other people? Let's say you're out in a group or you're working on someone. Do we always need to protect ourselves energetically?
Well, protecting yourself is not really a good terminology, because I'm not a light warrior. I don't have my dukes up with my reality.
All right.
But you have a personal energy field, and you have a worldly energy field, and your personal energy field, your aura, is kind of 2-3 feet above you, and 2-3 feet to the side of you, and 2-3 feet below you, and it's in a nice egg-shaped form. And so, first of all, it's important to maintain this egg shape, because I find that people, and this is something I see a lot, people whose auras kind of have bumps in them, they don't have good separation between them and their world. So this is one thing. But, you step into an elevator, you go to the office, you step into an elevator, and all your auras overlap. And so you are going to pick up other people's stuff.
Okay.
What you need to do is, what you need to make certain is that A, you clean it out, or B, that you're not affected by it. So if you're like, oh, the world's a hard place out there, and you continuously have your dukes up, you can't trust anybody, then any energy that you will absorb will manifest that way. And so you will have a hard life. One thing that I do is, when I take a shower, instead of just cleaning my body, I also give it a moment where I intend. You have to have the intention. I intend and then pay attention. That the water coming down also cleans out my energy field. So there's these little cotton, almost like cottony balls. They're not very round necessarily, but pieces of cotton, like that are maybe a little translucent, and they're kind of grayish. And so you can just see the water taking this, and they're going down the drain. That will clean your energy field.
Oh, I love that. That's so simple. That's what I'm going to do. Yes.
So what if you go out and you absorb other people's energy?
Right.
If it's bad, then, you go and close it out. Now, for those of you that are married and sleep with your significant other in one bed, you're really going to pick up your significant other's energies.
Yeah.
So if your significant other is really messed up, then that may affect you. So there is where it comes and is important that, and I mentioned this first of all because I have a free video that everybody can go and watch and do it on their own, but energetically, this is the biggest bang for your buck. If you only do one thing, go and clean your chakras.
Excellent, excellent. Now, before we close out, I want to talk about the single people, because you said you'd seen that I'm a matchmaker and how important it is for the chakras to be balanced, right?
Tell us
a little bit about that.
You know, when you go to a railroad yard and they put trains together, and they kind of have this little hill, and then they release one car, and then they set the gates. They set the gates in a particular way so that instead of this car going on this line, it goes on that line. Mm-hmm. I hope this is clear enough. Well, we have gates up the wazoo in our chakras and in our energy fields.
Okay.
And so if some of these gates are misset, you see, your chakra is your communication with your outside world. Mm-hmm. This is where, on an energetic level, you present to your world who you are. So whatever you feel, whatever state of mind you are, you're sending this out. And this is like a loudspeaker array. So, you know, the root chakra may be your subwoofer, your sacral chakra may be the woofer, and then there's the main one, and then there's the tweeter, and there's the high tweeter. You send out energies on different levels. And have you ever heard about this person who like falls madly in love, and they have like a 2-week incredible romance, and then they abruptly break up, and then it takes the person 2 weeks to recover, and comes the next person, and madly in love, 2 weeks off, next person, on and on and on, the same pattern. Why do they have this? They have this because their energy field is set up, and they're sending the signal to their world that that's what they're looking for. And they may not be looking for this consciously,
right?
But their energy field is screwed up through some certain circumstance or another. Maybe they don't feel they deserve it. They feel too much ashamed, or whatever it may be. And so when these gates in your energy field and these gates in your chakras are misaligned, instead of you saying, oh, you know, I want to be so nice and healthy and I want to be wealthy, the universe hears, I want to be sick and poor as up the wazoo, because the message gets garbled, and it goes, it's like a CPU. One of the gates is set up, and everything that follows is just garbled.
All right, so what do we do about that?
You make sure that you keep your energy clean.
Okay.
You make sure that you clean your chakras out.
Okay.
Regularly. Once a week is enough.
Okay.
And that you ground. You need to be grounded. If you're not a grounded person, go and hug a tree. Uh-huh. Stand barefoot on the earth.
Or maybe use some black tourmaline. I love black tourmaline, right?
Yes,
very grounding.
Exactly. And tourmaline also absorbs negativity. Mm-hmm. It's one of the stones. But the best for grounding is hematite.
Oh, hematite. I love hematite. Beautiful.
Yes. You just have it on your body. If it's a small piece, you can make a little piece of jewelry out of it.
I've got some. It's on this bracelet.
Yes.
With the
saints.
In
between the little balls.
Yeah.
Just make certain you don't get magnetite. Magnetite is hematite that has been magnetized.
Oh, okay, right. I have some of that too. Some magnetite.
Yes.
And then it's good to keep by your computer because of the electromagnetic.
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
And I have one here by my computer, and also it makes the computer run better.
Oh,
it absorbs all errant energies by your computer, and most computer mishaps is because you know, if you're a strong psychic person, you have a large presence. These little gates that work on very low voltages, they are very sensitive to your emotional states. And so if you're really upset at the computer may do weird stuff. So having a personal relationship with your computer and making nice and having gratitude for your computer, that, you know, every day I come to you, and when I click on this, there it is. And when I click on that, there's the other. And thank you very much. And so you establish a relationship. And that's another way to start opening up your third eye. You start establishing a relationship with inanimate objects.
Oh. Well, okay, I think, you know, before, years ago, I'd think it was kind of crazy when people would, like, they'd name their car, they'd talk to their car and stuff. But as I, you know, grew spiritually and started thinking about this, everything, the computer, the car, it's all made from things out of the earth, which is living and has a vibration and frequency. So inanimate objects they all have, like my desk is made of wood. Well, this was a living tree and it still has that energetic pattern frequency,
Yes.
right? So
Exactly.
you can talk to inanimate objects, and they are moving, but we just can't see it.
Yeah. I do quantum touch on my car, and my car basically doesn't break down.
Oh, I love it.
If you have like a battery in your cell that died, and you absolutely have to get this important text out before you get home, and you can recharge it, you can take the battery into your hands, do quantum touch on it, and it will just revive it enough at least to send out another text. So, you know, they do respond to love. Whatever out there inanimate, they do respond to love. And besides, plants are not inanimate, they are alive. They've discovered how trees talk to each other.
Right.
And so, you know, connect with the greater picture. Everything is love. Everything is light. In the physical, this light has been slowed down so much that we believe it becomes an object and you cannot go through it. But everything is love. Everything is light. Everything is made out of the divine. Everything is divine, including yourself.
And you're divine, Daniel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending this time with us. I so appreciate it. And there's so much, I mean, you have so much information. I'll have to have you back, and we'll talk more about love, too, for the single people.
Yes, and so I'd like to bring up one more thing.
Please.
I pray for people. There's very little research that was done on psychic phenomena, but there was actually double-blind experiments done on prayer. And so they've had a control group, and they had another group, and the other group, they all had like surgery. The one group would be prayed over, and the other group was not. And the group that was prayed over actually recovered faster and with less pain. So I do pray for people, and I find the more people I pray for, so you see, this is a win-win situation, the more potent my prayers get. So please go to my website and sign up to be on my prayer list.
Oh, how wonderful. And that's free for people? They can just sign up and put
their name?
That's free.
They can just sign up.
That's
and if
beautiful.
later on I send them something and they don't want to receive emails from me, they can just opt out.
Okay.
But I will pray for them till the rest of my days. I have a list of over 1,000 people. I pray every night over everybody.
So you have the names in somewhere, and then you're just as a collective. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I like to do that too with my Reiki box. I put people's pictures in and things, and then give energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and they all get it.
Right. And my box is like a sparkly heart, and so they're in there, so it's like really beautiful. All right, Daniel, thank you so much. And everybody, his links are below. Connect with him and check out his website and let us know what you think about all of this. Do you do any of these modalities? Are you talking to your computer? Have you recharged your battery? Have you cleaned your auras? Let us know in the comments below. And much love, everybody. Bye.
Totally nice meeting you. I wish everybody the best.